was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live. And now we're live. I started a second too early.
And we're back.
Welcome to the Underdog Journey. Always a second early, several minutes late. I'm Wes. This guy is David. This guy's Matt Harmon. And there's my cat.
Meow, meow.
Dave, how you doing, man?
Well, just as the show started, I got a tickle in my throat here, so I'm going to drink some water while you tell us about what you're drinking tonight.
I have that effect on people. So I'm actually still trying to wrap up my Brewdog Advent calendar. So today I'm on Hazy Jane Pineapple. It's pretty good.
Okay.
So the sweetness of the pineapple actually breaks up the hoppiness of the IPA. So it's pretty tasty. It's good.
You open that yet?
It's got a nice color to it. Nice. It is a Hazy Jane, so it's a hazy IPA. But pretty tasty.
All right, what's hazy mean? I mean, clear. Okay, but what causes
that? It's hazy.
The fermentation process.
The fermentation process. Okay.
Yeah.
So they skipped a step and forgot to filter it.
Basically, it's an unfiltered. Yeah, it's basically an unfiltered IPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it's probably more complicated than that, but yeah, essentially.
If you held Guinness up to the light, it'd be hazy too.
That's not really how stouts work, but yeah.
Okay.
What are you drinking, Matt?
I'm not drinking. That would be against the Lent rules, but if I were, it'd be tin cup.
Well, you're not officially Catholic yet, so you can still drink during Lent.
Oh, thank God.
There you go. Now, when you cross that barrier, So I think that's the thing. You're not supposed to drink during Lent.
Yeah,
something like that.
You're supposed to give something up.
Yeah, usually meat. So that's why like the Catholics have like fish Fridays and stuff like that.
Katie gave up fast food, and she is hardcore sticking to it.
Is she? Well, okay, there you go.
Yeah, like when everybody gets pizza, she won't eat it.
Huh.
You go, girl.
Fair enough. She's a dedicated, good young lady.
Yes, she is.
Who is?
His daughter, Katie.
Yeah, who just turned 15 and didn't get anything from David.
David, what are you drinking?
That seems highly appropriate.
Yeah, thank you.
You don't want strange men giving your daughter gifts.
No, I really
no.
don't. I'd be upset.
Yeah, I would not put that announcement out on Facebook that you want men giving your 15-year-old daughter birthday gifts.
Nah.
Man, I was glad that you did not participate.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yes. Prudence is an important thing in the world. So I'm traveling, and I'm trying to find our podcast over here on the other computer.
It should be there somewhere. I just shared it.
There we go. I don't know. It keeps asking me if I want to save changes and stuff. I'm like, I didn't do anything. Literally just scrolling, but here we go. I think I got it. All the mutes are down. So I'm traveling, and that means I am without my standard bourbon shelf that's usually immediately to my right.
Right.
Hopefully it's unloaded right now. I got new furniture coming in this weekend for the office.
Nice.
So that should be pretty good. But I did bring something with me, just a little taste of something.
Okay.
What's funny is I got on the show with you at 7:55, and not 6 minutes earlier, I was across the street at a place called the Buffalo Chop House, having dinner of a nice dry aged Kansas City steak, or so they called it. It was okay, and some delicious Edams and some Blantons over there.
Nice.
So I've been drinking Blantons, and I figure the only way to follow up drinking Blantons is to drink more.
You
Blantons.
bought the whole bottle from the restaurant?
So,
Is that what happened?
No.
You've done that before. That's
that'd
why
be
I
illegal.
asked.
Shh, that would be illegal. I've never done that. I don't know what you're talking about. But I do have a bottle of Blanton's with me. The seal is still there. I haven't opened it. I may or may not partake into it. I may or may not have a nice little high class plastic cup that's in the wrapper here
Of course.
from the hotel.
As Blanton's should be
like you do. As Blanton should be drinking
imbibed. From which?
Drunken from
Our
which?
grammar's really
you should
good tonight, by
drink.
the way.
Yes.
Should
It's
be
really
drunk,
good or-
drunken.
Yeah, well, it depends on the phraseology. But the bartender that was taking care of me over there, he left, and another guy come up and he goes, "What kind of whiskey did you have?" I'm like, "Had double Blantons, 2 of them." And he just looks at me like, "Really, you're going to tell me the truth? Okay, fine." So he goes away, comes back with the bottle, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" So you want me to identify the bottle that I'm drinking from? What's going on here?
Yeah, like.
So he comes back and goes, I just want to say thank you for being honest, because you could have just told me anything you wanted. So he pours more into my cup. And I'm like, well, I can't leave that.
Well, sure.
That would be rude. And David Leffingwell is no rude person, so I drank that too.
So what did the type of bourbon you were drinking have to do with your honesty?
Well, I could have been like,
Well, like you weren't anticipating
Evan Williams.
You weren't anticipating giving you free booze.
Well,
No, but I guess he was like, man, you could have just said something like Evan Williams. And
Oh,
it'd
right.
been
Because he hadn't charged you yet. That makes sense.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't putting it all together.
To a whatever charge. I don't have no idea. I didn't even look at the bill. It was like a couple $100. Done.
Yeah, that's why I don't let you drink my Blantons.
Oh my God, I wouldn't drink your Blantons if the house was on fire.
More for me.
Well, to be fair, if the house is on fire, drinking Blantons is not what I'm doing either.
Or the house is on fire because you've been drinking too much Blantons. That could happen too.
That is absolutely far more likely. It's far more likely.
It tastes like colonoscopy prep. It's the worst
I've
ever had.
All right.
The opinions of the random ass guy in the back is not necessarily the opinion, and absolutely is not the opinion of the Underdog Journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, God, it's so bad.
Weird.
Blanton's is delicious.
It is
delicious.
It's
what
nature's
letter do I have
candy,
here?
is what it is.
I have an L. Here, okay, camera's on this side.
It's nature's candy.
I have the L.
You got the L. What the L, David? Nicole Leffingwell says the
What the
house
L?
is on fire. Let's hope not literally.
Yeah, let's hope not literally.
If it is, Nikki, by the way, if your house is on fire, don't take the time to let us know. Just leave the house. That's
and once you're outside, text me. Well, actually, I guess if it's on fire, you can call me. I'll hang up.
Here's a better idea. Instead of letting us know in the comments, send an email to the fire department. They'll get it and they'll come and respond. They usually check their emails very promptly.
I've seen Dave's house on pictures. It seems like a smolderer. It doesn't seem like a burner.
Well, it's a relatively recent build. It's a nice newer house, newer than mine.
I think
It is 2005 or 2006 or something.
Yeah, so much newer than mine. Much newer than mine.
So if it
It's a good
catches
time.
fire, it's a collapse. It's a collapse. The way they build houses nowadays, or even them a days, that house is going to collapse.
Really, any day. You don't want to catch it on fire.
Yeah. So Nikki, I need you to confirm that our house is in fact not on fire.
Yeah, Nikki, leave another comment. Let us know that you're safe. If your house is on fire again, just leave and text your husband.
I hear a phone.
She's like, I'm getting a spam call. She says, you left me in charge. So that's Nikki, that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Actually, to be fair, I didn't leave anybody in charge. I just say everybody for themselves. And I think Noah was supposed to make you guys dinner. So best of luck with that. He was going to make burgers.
I think that means pizza. Yeah.
Home from college?
No, he's working, man. Got a real.
He's a busy
big
man.
boy
He's
job.
a busy working
He
man.
makes more money. He makes more money than Nikki by almost double.
I thought he was at college.
No, he's going to start back again here in the spring, I think, working on an associate's up at a college up in New York.
Well, that'll be nice having him closer to home.
That is nice.
Yeah, and he's making money paying for it himself, which I highly approve of.
Even better.
Yes.
Definitely
Yeah,
approve.
he'll pay less for the rest of his college than I paid for 1 quarter at the school he was going to. So
I believe it.
Yeah, he did it. The football program kind of fell apart. To be honest, I don't know if that college will be in business in a couple of years if they make it through this year. So it was we had a lot of coaches abandon ship, a lot of players jumping ship. So he didn't want to stay. He's played football his whole life, and he's kind of done with it. He's kind of done with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, now he's back making just stupid amounts of money.
That's awesome. Good for him, man. That's great.
It's offensive how much money that kid
So
makes.
he's not begging you for Taco Bell money anymore, is what you're trying to say.
Oh, jeez, no, not even close.
That's awesome. Good for him. That's awesome. That's great.
That age didn't make much money. That's how it should be.
So,
Yeah,
not to get political, but since you're speaking about college, this is actually one of Donald Trump's campaign promises. Say what you want about whatever candidate. I'm just saying what was being said. He says that he's going to make government-funded online courses that once you complete these series of courses will be the equivalent of having, I think, a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree, one of the two. And they're going to be free, 100% free. And the government sponsored courses, free to anybody who wants to take them. And they're going to be once you finish the courses, it'll be the equivalent of having a bachelor's or an associate's degree.
Right, but
from a university.
Nice.
So if I took
It's
that
not a
bachelor's-
university. The accreditation won't mean anything. In
Okay.
fact, accreditation in general doesn't mean much of anything. But as far as on a resume, you can say, yeah, I have a bachelor's degree or associate's degree in X, Y, and Z fields.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So funny thing is there's still a lot of people opposing it. So I thought free education is one of those things that we wanted, but it's being opposed. I'm not getting political. I'm just saying what is being said.
I'm gonna get a little political because it doesn't make the right people rich.
Oh, you know what? You hit right on the nose there. Right on the nose. Maybe we better change the subject before we get too political.
And we're moving on. Yeah, we'll get it. It's real easy. I got my Trump shirt. My Trump
I
Tower
didn't
shirt
even
on.
notice the camera's angles going. That's funny.
Yeah, because of the way it's situated here, and the iPad tilts and faces up.
So
You
David,
guys can see behind me a little bit.
yeah, your hotel room is awesome, by the way. That's a cool hotel room.
So I like this. This is at the Aloft this is in downtown Buffalo. It's my favorite hotel up here. And this is kind of when I walk in, doesn't matter what room I book, they always upgrade me to this room. And I love it.
Yeah,
it's up on the top floor. Yeah, it's got a great view. It's got a balcony out there.
Yeah.
And it's got more square footage than I think my first home.
Right, that's a nice place. Like before the show, you showed us around on the camera, and I'm like, man, that's literally nicer than almost any place I've ever lived. Period. So
Yeah, this right here is a huge. This is a dance floor up here.
have a
This is
dance party
floor out
afterward.
here. I'm going to. You got to see me.
You look like a big
I'll put
dancer.
it online.
I'm sure you. It's like Footloose
Yeah,
when the
that's it.
camera's not on, is what happens. I've seen you go.
That's the way it does. That happens. That happens.
So, David, do you have any news?
Nothing that we can talk about.
No.
There were a couple things that I've been watching. While I consider them news, they would be boring as well pissed to all of our viewers because it has to do with solar and energy storage and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing that's of value to us. And everything else that I've been following is just all instantly political.
Yeah, it's really hard not to talk about political stuff because everything is at least political adjacent. Like everything is like
Yes.
one step away from being incredibly political. So, I actually do have a couple items that I think are pretty neat, pretty cool. So the first one,
None of them have to do with AI.
no, we never talk about AI on the show. It's actually a taboo subject on this show. But David, do you remember a few weeks ago when we talked about the organelle computers, newer computers that are built to have all the processing handled by cloned human neural tissue?
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember. I was like, wait, what the heck?
And they run like magnitudes faster than normal mechanical computers. Like they're that fast.
Yeah.
It's insane how complex these things are.
Yeah, like data's neural net. We got it. Okay.
Right.
Neuralink.
So, I also asked the question at the time, is hypothetically, if you had one of these, organelle computers, these organic computers, and you put AI on it, AI to run on it, at what point is it no longer artificial intelligence and it's actually an organic, potentially, in big quotes, thinking creature? I don't know. But there's a related news article.
When is it a new life form?
Right. There's a related news article that I thought was really cool and kind of relates. Kind of relates to this. So I'm going to share my screen here.
I'm tired of being the old guy
fire
who
away.
disapproves of all of this. You guys used to be practical enough to not approve of all of this stuff.
No, if this is how the world ends, it's actually a pretty cool way to go.
All of a sudden, you're buying into it, hook, line, and sinker. What happened to you?
All right, so here's the news. All right, new DNA infused computer chip can perform calculations and make future AI models far more efficient. So basically, what they did is they created a computer chip that uses human DNA to not only store data, but actually for processing purposes.
Where are they getting it? Where did they get the DNA?
Probably from volunteers who donated their DNA.
It was from your previous semen samples.
They find a good sperm bank and they.
Where that went?
There you go.
I lost that stuff.
So it got me thinking. Okay, what if there's this big organelle computer that's basically neural tissue that's working and functioning as a computer, and it's using its own DNA as a storage and processing mechanism?
It's called a human at this point.
That's my point. That's what I'm trying to say.
In what world is this a good idea?
Isn't that insane?
You know what?
It's just the technology is mind-blowing. This was science fiction 6 months ago.
It should be science fiction. The two of you would have joined me in some kind of revolution 3 years ago. Dave gets this job, and all of a sudden, you both are just gone completely crackers.
I don't.
David, what do you think about this? We know what he thinks about this.
Okay, well, he does not like it, so
he's not a fan.
Down in the opposed column. I don't know. I'd have to look at what the research actually says, what they've done, what is it, what is the data that it's storing, how is it doing its calculation, what is the return,
right,
for that calculation.
And
so I mean,
I'm sure this technology is still
there's a lot more.
Yeah, and this technology is still definitely in its infancy. But the simple fact that this type of thing was science fiction a year ago, and now it's actually a thing. Imagine where it's going to be in 10 years.
Yeah, I get that. But we've been able to power a clock off a potato for quite some time.
Imagine where it's going to be in 10 years. That's a really good point.
This is just a high-end clock potato.
All right. Okay. Look, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's going nowhere. Maybe it's just a big nothing, and it's just kind of a cool story that's not going to go anywhere. Maybe. Kind of like those solid-state batteries we've been hearing about for the last decade that haven't really come about.
10 to 15 years. And I was talking to a person that's actually doing research on those. And I said, well, how long are we looking? He goes, 10 to 15 years. And I'm like, oh, okay, really? That long? He goes, yeah. But it's been 10 to 15 years for about 10 to 15 years now. So right. Your guess is as good as mine. And these are people that actually, do this.
Right, exactly.
It's what they do. They can get some on paper, things work very good. So, but in practical use, there's a whole different story.
Right.
But again, welcome to Super Potato Clock 2000.
Yeah. Well, so here's a question. You don't think that the use of AI to run calculations and to run projections and to discover new ways of doing these things, help discover new ways of doing these sorts of things, is going to advance the ability to perform these functions sooner than we would have before?
Well, I'm not going to say sooner than we would have before.
Well, executed more quickly.
Every new technology is the catalyst for the next big leap, and that's been going on for quite some time.
Right.
And it's exponential. It's not necessarily we had a linear line that went from bottom left-hand corner to the top right-hand corner. I mean, this thing goes in leaps, and each technology.
It's the hockey stick.
Exactly. It's a hockey stick, and it jumps up and runs, and the next one feeds and it builds. So it'll be interesting to watch it as it progresses. But until it actually does something useful, I'm calling it the Potato Clock 2000.
Look, in a few years, when we're all going to the pet store to buy our new computers, you can tell me then.
You just get a little hamster wheel in there, and your computer's just running around on it.
Right. That's your new iPhone. You just stick a gerbil in your pocket. You're good to go.
My stomach hurts. Thanks, guys.
No comment. Dan McDonald says, "Look at 3D printing." 100% right, Dan.
Yeah, I have a 3D printer in my basement. I really need to set it up and learn how to use that dang thing.
Oh, I want one so bad.
Wait till it takes over your house.
The 3D printer?
Well, no, I actually like 3D printers.
It's a 3D printer. I mean,
if the 3D printer is advanced enough, it's going to take over my house. That's a pretty
making.
darn good 3D printer. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to be very happy. If it takes over my house, I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about my house anymore. The 3D printer's got this shit under control. Hell yeah.
Oh.
And that mortgage is his problem now.
Right. Well, look, we didn't even talk about the new AI robot that's powered on ChatGPT. There's a demo video they put out, and it's pretty incredible. So, I don't know. That's a different conversation. But look, if you could 3D print...
So Dan just commented, print a new guitar.
Ooh. Dude, I'll bet a good quality 3D printed guitar isn't far away.
Does Dave actually know how to play guitar?
That would actually be a really good invention, David. If you could get a really high quality big 3D printer, right, and experiment with different 3D material, the printable material, and discover which one has the best acoustics, what shape is going to work best with the material, I'll bet you could make a mint off making the first really good high quality 3D printed guitars. A mint.
It'd be interesting.
We just gave a really good idea to somebody out there.
So I mean, I plan on hopefully somebody takes it and runs with it. That's the whole idea of this thing. We have the idea. So it's the spark. You know, I had a conversation. I think it was this past week about the difference between the spark and the rock. You have a rock solid idea versus the spark of insanity, I guess. The spark that drives you, the one that's like, oh, and it lights your eyes up.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, ooh, like when you guys were talking about, when you and Klaus were sitting there talking, and you guys were like, oh, this, and this, and both of your all's eyes were like, oh, like,
yeah,
yes, this is sexy. I want to take this on. And then you guys start talking to me.
That was a big moment. I think a lot of things are going to grow from that.
It was a hard idea, and then versus the rock solid foundation, which is I tend to stay in that realm. That is absolutely a lie. Anybody who knows me,
yeah, no, you've never been. You barely step foot in that realm from time to time.
Yeah, I've seen it as I went past it at 1,000 miles an hour with all the ideas that come spilling out of his head.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Like, oh, what are those guys doing? I don't know.
Hey, what's that over there? It's ADD of ingenuity. Yes. That's what that is. All right.
Advanced Dave deduction.
So
before you jump into a topic, I got something quick.
Uh-oh.
All right, no, this is actually practical.
Okay.
All right, so as you know, I'm in college, right? And I'm taking architectural photography this semester with Brad Fikenoff. Just an incredible.
There's literally a class on taking pictures of buildings.
Yes. Now I'm thinking to myself, all right, finally, a class of photography where I don't have to be creative. I just take the damn picture and keep the lines.
Yeah, somebody else built the building.
Right.
Yeah.
No, so
that's on selfie mode. Nobody wants that.
There
we go.
Portfolio, right? And he says to me, like he's spoken to every other professor I have, man, I think you're a little too literal.
It's a building.
Every professor.
How much more literal can you get?
Every professor I've got has said I'm too literal. I'm not creative enough. I'm too literal. They give me a homework assignment. I do the homework exactly how they described it.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it too literally. I don't understand what they mean.
So I'm gonna.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mine was dangerous. So I better let you go first. See
Mine
where you're at. Based upon where you go, I'll follow up.
All right. So mine is directly related because I also went to CCAD.
Right.
And when I was going to CCAD, I had a few like mixed media classes, things like that. And my grades were low B's, high C's in general. And I know for a fact that my work that I was producing was head and shoulders technically and execution-wise much better than other kids who were getting much better grades than me. And during reviews,
did you have a red beard during that time?
I did not. I couldn't even grow one at the time. So
there you go. That's what happened.
What I did, I during reviews in class, I asked the teacher, straight out, I was like, why? I don't mean to put anybody else's work down, but why is my work continually ridiculed and gets lower grades on average than some of these other pieces that I'm not going to point any out specifically, but they're just not that great.
Not any places specifically that bitch right there.
and she actually told me. She said, you know, it's your work is really technically good. It's executed well. It's put together well. It meets all the parameters of the course. But
Assignment, yeah.
It needs a backstory. You can't just have the meat and potatoes. You need the dessert too, and it needs to have it needs to have meaning. It needs to have meaning. Where's the heart? And so you know what I did is after that I stopped putting any effort in that class, any effort, and I would throw a bunch of crap together before class or the night before. I'd make up this big elaborate backstory that was just complete bullshit. And she loved it. I got straight A's in that course after that. You know what? That's what she wants. That's what I give her.
Yeah.
That's what your teachers are telling you.
Yeah, I struggle.
If you gave them complete shit and made just some elaborate backstory about what it means to you as an artist and yada yada yada, they'd love it. They'd eat that up.
This building means that the people inside of it don't get wet when it rains.
Well, no, it's the same. Here's a direct thing. The same way that people talk about. Here's what you do: go online, Google Jackson Pollock reviews. The same way that people talk about Jackson Pollock. The same way people talk about Jackson Pollock. Say that about your architectural photography. Say the lines mean this to me, and they make me feel that way. And the way they converge and split in this other way, it really draws this out of my spirit. And I think what the architect meant by this and yada yada yada.
I think that
I'm telling you.
Most of the other professors, but Brad's not a professor. He's an actual working photographer, who's like filling in more. I mean, like he's.
I'm telling you, give it a try.
And I get what he was saying because and with what he was saying made perfect sense. But with the other people, they're wrong. They're just wrong.
I'm telling you, take my advice, do it. They will love it.
They will do what you're saying.
Yeah.
I will give it a try.
We have given Matt a lot of advice over the years.
And I'm still not financially successful.
Fair enough.
You haven't taken any of it. Said, Matt, don't do this. You'll get fired.
Dan McDonald told you just use ChatGPT.
I wouldn't ever use ChatGPT.
Dan, he would never do that.
Getting caught.
So I'm at a place here, undisclosed location this week, and manufacturing this brand new technology stuff that's coming out. It's really cool. I'm really excited to be part of it. And the guy comes down and he's like, something, blah, 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 blah. And I'm in my own little bubble. I'm working on a completely different thing. And I hear ChatGPT and I'm, all right. What? He goes, yeah, I'm just going to have ChatGPT write the code for the button. Because I had to add this little thing in the last moment. So he's going to copy and paste all the stuff into it. ChatGPT is going to write the code for it.
Yeah.
And he's going to go out and debug it.
Hilarious.
So I'm like, I'm glad I'm not the only person out here doing this.
I have a word of advice for him, though. There's a newer one called Claude 3. CLAUDE version 3.
Also, it's French.
I don't know. It's free though, and it actually writes much better code than ChatGPT.
Hey,
Claude 3.
I have a question about AI. In all seriousness, is there an AI bot out there? Are they called bots? Am I saying that right?
AI bots? Yeah, they're bots.
Yeah, close enough.
Whatever. That can find an obscure art book and research it for me.
Well, here's the problem. It has to be on the web, available for a bot to be able to find. So that's the thing, is any AI tool can look up anything if it knows where to look. It has to be available for it.
It's limited to its source material.
Right. It can't just go into a library where this thing is sitting on the shelf.
So
all right. So if you're gonna look at that, I want you to read a book.
I mean, it's a good idea.
By West's favorite author, Dan Brown.
Oh, he's a fantastic author. He said this, then she said this, then I said that, then this happened.
You beat on him every time.
He's a terrible writer.
Dan Brown, and there's a book.
He's a good storyteller. He's a terrible writer.
There is a book called Origin that he wrote that actually talks about more modern art mixed with AI. Like the whole book is surrounded by this. So go read Origin. Not as a source material for your data, but as a just a good read, and it'll kind of open your mind up to to a little bit more of the path of thinking that you're on.
And as with most of Dan Brown's books, it's probably recommended by Oprah Winfrey's book club. As we know, that's full of winners. So,
Dude, I'm just gonna.
I wish somebody would have told me there was this much reading in
Sorry.
college. I mean, it's just, here, read this.
I went to art school, so I wouldn't have to read. I get it.
For God's sakes. Yeah, I mean, just read it to me. Give me the high points. I'm busy.
Dan McDonald says, "You know who was the original AI?"
Winston Churchill.
Is that a question, Dan, or is that a statement? There's no punctuation. Who is the first artificial intelligence?
No. Oh, jeez.
Are you the chess playing Turk machine, which by the way was fake? There was a person underneath it.
Oh, there was not.
I'm still stuck on the Winston Churchill comment.
He says Jesus. Jesus wasn't artificial.
Was it Jesus or Jesus?
Jesus.
I mean, this could be. Yeah,
Jesus is the new Mexican AI.
We're going to need clarification here.
It's the new Mexican company's AI. It's
AI.
really good. I have nothing else to say because it's going to sound terribly racist.
Yeah,
it's a really good AI.
Bad. There's no way.
There's no way out of that.
There.
Dan, what are you trying to do to us here?
To be fair, Top Gear survived some pretty amazing comments about Mexico, so we could do it too.
Well, they're in Europe. I think if you're closer to home, you can't get away with it.
No. So I don't know how that. I'm curious of the connection. I don't know that I want to find out live on the internet Jesus and the AI. But Dan,
look,
stick around after the show. We've got questions.
Maybe Dan McDonald is saying that we're living in a simulation, and Jesus was an AI bot planted by the master programmer to show us a new way.
Neo. Are you saying Jesus was Neo?
Jesus was Neo essentially, and that would make Morpheus
That's
God.
Keanu Reeves,
sort of. Yeah. Well, a lot of people think Keanu Reeves is the new Jesus, second coming.
You know what? I'm gonna have to pray.
I just watched Bill and Ted the other day, and by the other day I mean 30 years ago, and it was a fantastic film.
You know what?
Did you see the newest one? It was not.
It was not a great film. No.
It was. I've got to watch it because of the history behind the series, but it was not.
Number one was good. Number two was good. It was underrated though. Number three never should have happened. They're making a number 4.
I got it. AI is
really?
Plantons. That's why Plantons is so bad. It's made by AI in Chernobyl.
All right.
What?
Anyway, so there's more news.
Elmer T. Lee is the master distiller that brought Blanton's as a marketable item back alive, and he also, which actually I believe is my favorite bourbon, is the Elmer T. Lee.
It's a good one.
Were either one of you guys? Were you there, Wes, the night we drank that whole bottle down at Chubby's?
No, I wasn't there for that.
No,
it sounds fun.
You weren't there. Kevin was there.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one.
And we ended up drinking with this vet.
Oh, you told me about that. You told me about that night.
This is the time that Uber was like, "No, I'm not letting that guy get in my car."
Yeah, you told me about that. That's funny.
Home, and we let his dog out, made sure the dog had food, made sure he survived.
Some random guy you met at the bar, you're like feeding his dog, letting it out.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, come on. When it comes to dogs, it's what's that? Is it Samuel Clemens? That what was it saying? The more people I meet, the more I like my dog.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can't beat Mark Twain. Smart man.
Yeah. Oh, I said Samuel Clemens. All right, yeah.
Same
Mark
thing.
Twain.
Mark Twain was not AI.
No, Mark Twain was much smarter than AI.
If we're living in a simulation, then Mark Twain was AI.
Well, if we're living in a simulation, we're all AI.
Yeah.
See, I have a theory. So a lot of people think with a simulation theory that it's an ancestor simulation where, in the what we would consider to be the distant future, our evolved descendants are running an ancestor simulation trying to discover where they come from, their origins, that sort of thing.
Where they went wrong.
Here's my theory on the simulation hypothesis. I say it's an ancestor simulation, but not of humans. It's an ancestor simulation of super advanced future AI after humans have gone extinct, looking back to see where it came from. Think about that.
Have you never seen Doctor Who?
I've seen
humans
a
are
lot
like
of
the
Doctor
last
Who.
thing at the end of all time when all the lights are going out, and then they work back
There have been
The
at least
starter?
a dozen
That was
episodes.
it with the master. Yeah.
There have been at least a dozen episodes, each with a different explanation of what happens at the end of time.
Yeah.
So, I think the most recent one was the one with Maisie Williams, which I was not a fan of that story, but it is what it is. Anyway.
So I stopped watching at a certain point, and I refused to go back. So
Yeah, I like Peter Capaldi as an
I'm
actor.
out.
He wasn't my favorite Doctor, and you know where he lost me?
Wasn't my
Peter
favorite
Capaldi.
Doctor.
He lost me.
Was it the sunglasses?
It was the Sonic sunglasses.
Sonic
Sonic.
sunglasses. Yep.
Let's think about Sonic sunglasses.
Sonic sound sunglasses.
No.
Sound glasses.
I just had to say no.
Sound scene.
No. Just big nope.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm out.
So before we start
But,
ranting about Doctor
when
Who
he's playing the guitar on the tank.
in the Viking
like,
arena.
Why?
Yeah.
Yes. Why? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Did you guys literally fire every writer?
That was written by AI.
Should have been. Actually, I think AI could have done a lot better. If you were to program in all of the screenplay from all of the Doctor Who up to a very certain point and let it write the next episodes, I mean, I'd be interested to see what it comes up with.
Actually,
because there's some really good episodes out there.
There are. And actually, Peter Capaldi's time as the Doctor, they actually had a simulation episode where they were in a simulation. And they didn't know they were in a simulation.
They did the countdowns.
That
they
was
did the random number generator.
That was a cool episode, actually.
Yeah.
But the Sonic sunglasses threw me off.
Sonic sunglasses. It's ridiculous.
So I did open a new beer, which is Brewdog's Lost. It is their Planet First Lager. I don't know what the story is behind that. It doesn't say. It's just called Lost, and it's a lager. I know they have their Lost Lager. I don't think this is it. It says their Planet First Lager. I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Lost Lager. It's normal clear lager.
Okay.
Yeah. So
should be lager. It should be clear. A lager should be clear.
Yeah. Generally,
you should never see a hazy lager.
Well, I've seen you can have something unfiltered, so it's a little hazy-ish.
I've seen better. I mean, come on, guys, come on. If you're gonna lager the damn thing.
Yeah, it's fine. All right. So, Next piece of news. Remember, I said not too long ago that this would be the first year when AI produced content, whether it's images, audio, whatever, would be used on political figures. I did say it. Well, I think, and a lot of people are starting to think, that we've actually seen that happen. Not in the States, but overseas. So I don't know if you guys have heard about the controversy that recently popped up just a few days ago with Kate Middleton.
Oh, that was super controversial.
You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So, Kate Middleton. So
wait. Who is Kate Middleton?
Wimbledon.
She's married to. She's
a tennis player.
No. Don't listen to. Why are you listening to Matt?
Oh,
she's married to.
I thought he knew.
She's married to Prince William. Prince, what's his face? She's gonna be queen.
Prince died.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm with you.
Who do you think died?
I don't know. You're the one talking about some tennis player that's married to a queen.
So anyway, she's gonna be the future queen of England one day, and she hasn't been seen since December 25th. And everybody's like, where is this lady? Normally she's like front and center. She's putting all kinds of stuff out there on social. She's not been seen anywhere. And to sort of, quell everybody's questioning about what's happening, she put out a photo. It happens to be this photo with her family. Nice family photo. We're all happy and well and doing well. No problems at all. And it looks like a nice general family photo with her kids. And she put this out on Instagram.
That's AI. Look at the mouths.
That's not it at all. So, the mouths are fine. Nobody's questioning the mouths. But Matt's right, but for the wrong reasons. He's only assuming it's AI because the way I started the story.
No, I can always tell AI. I'm 100%.
Okay, you come here and tell me what you think is off. You give me. There are at least 5 things wrong with this photo. Show me one.
That kid's mouth right
Nope.
there. Well, I'm telling you, that's how I knew.
Nope, you're wrong.
No,
And I'll tell you why you're wrong.
All right, go ahead.
Because these faces on this photo are actually from other documented photos. What they did is they face swapped these faces that already existed onto AI bodies.
I could tell though.
No, the mouth is correct. That's the real mouth, Matt. This is why I don't invite him over. All right. So anyway, he ruined my story. The point is,
All right. Well,
who is he? Dave? Are you Dave? Did Dave Kern get here? When did he get here? All right.
Hold on. I gotta try some of these Underdog Journey dog treats.
So she put out this photo of her family. We're trying to have a show.
All right, go ahead. Fine.
She put out this photo of her family, and it came out that people started to notice weird things happening with this photo. It didn't seem quite right. Not for the reasons Matt says. For other reasons I'll point out. But the whatever documenting, he has me all flustered now. Whatever organization it is that approves the photos that come out of Buckingham Palace came out and officially said that they are no longer accepting this photo as legitimate, and it should be erased from all public record outside of Kate Middleton's own personal content that she puts out.
You can't erase it once it hits a record.
Well, news organizations like the AP have guidelines that they are supposed to follow.
Really?
And if there's fake information, they're supposed to retract the fake information. That's called the press. That's how the press works.
Actually do that, but whatever.
So instead they'll just talk about this. So basically they listed this whole set of things here. 7 things that they say are wrong with this photo. And you don't notice them until you see it. But here's the thing, is after the fact, Kate Middleton actually came out and on her account, rather than nobody saw her or heard her say this, she says, as an amateur photographer, sometimes I like to experiment with my photography, and I apologize, I didn't mean to mislead anyone. Unfortunately, this isn't just experimentation. This is actually an AI photo with face swapped.
They said she could have just been like us and goofing off with AI photos.
Maybe, but the level that this was done, I highly doubt she did this herself. I could do something to this level. Maybe she could. I'm not saying she couldn't, but it's highly unlikely. The level of this AI, and probably a lot of adjusting Photoshop work that went into this to make the AI match, it isn't quite right. So these photos of the kids have come from other documented photos from a few other sources. Her face, I think, came from like a Vogue shoot they did. But there's little things that you wouldn't notice otherwise. The way the hair doesn't quite fall right on the girl's shoulder. Let's see. The girl, one of her shoes has a heel, the other one doesn't. Things like that.
We were working with a website last week, a week before, whenever it was,
Mm-hmm.
and you were able to upload multiple images
Mm-hmm.
and let those images create a new one.
Yeah.
And there's no tech savvy experience at all for me. I just put some video pictures up there as a click, and it populated some images
Mm-hmm.
for me. So I mean, it could be something as simple as that.
It could be, and I'm not saying there's a conspiracy here.
Why does this matter?
Because the point is it's. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy. I'm just saying this photo was.
She's a werewolf. We all know that. We've seen that episode of Doctor Who.
The point is this photo was put out specifically because people were asking, "Hey, is everything okay? This lady hasn't been seen in a while. This lady who's usually very social, and they put this photo out, and it happens to be a fake photo. So, like, I mean, it's not a good look, especially if you're trying to say, "Hey, all is well. Here's this fake photo." Additionally, this is actually. Look, it means nothing to us because we don't have a royal family. We don't care about that. I personally hate the royal family. The idea, it's just annoying. They're like the Kardashians, right? I don't want anything to do with it. But the point is, this is actually a very high-level political figure over there.
Women with the big butts, right?
This is a very high-level political figure over there that they're putting out fake imagery of. It would be like over here, somebody putting out an AI image of Jill Biden.
Or somebody putting on a rubber mask that looks like Joe Biden.
Right, and we see that all the time. Oh, I actually saw a really good conspiracy theory the other day where somebody said that the new conspiracy theory is that Jim Carrey has been playing Joe Biden all along, and they've been like using AI to make it look like Joe Biden. And they showed like,
oh my God! Okay,
and they did like,
what? He actually might get my vote if it actually is Jim Carrey.
Right, exactly. And they did like, they went into detail on this theory too. Like they did like facial alignments, how things lined up. Had the jawline, stuff like that. And it's funny, as part of it, they showed pictures of, remember Fire Marshal Bill? They showed pictures of Fire Marshal Bill next to pictures of Joe Biden to show the similarities. It was hilarious. And I don't think they were joking. That's the really funny thing.
All right. So
Oh, okay. So it's funny until we find out they're not joking. If they're not joking, you gotta be.
So
Come on, man.
Hand grabbing
Come on.
the arm of the chair. That hand is jacked up. His other hand. This is the little boy with the green sweater.
Yeah.
His other hand is jacked up because his middle finger is sticking straight out. I mean, literally straight out.
Yeah, so you're talking about this. So we all know that AI does weird stuff with hands, and I didn't question this as much because kids also do weird stuff with their hands.
Yeah, but it's you can't physically put your finger that way. Also, he's got a missing tooth or a darkened tooth. That kid is completely jacked up. You're right about the little girl's heel.
You're wrong about the face. The face is real. Because I've seen the original face on a different photo. That's the real face, man.
So what's going on with
Stop with the face. He has a he's British. He has jacked up teeth. Why are you obsessed with the teeth? His face is real, Matt. Let's move on.
Something's wrong with that.
Oh, there goes our England viewership. He's British. He's got jacked up teeth.
Have you ever seen Austin Powers? It's a thing.
Yeah, baby.
So anyway, it's just not a good look is my point. And it would be just like one of our, presidential candidates putting out an AI photo of their family. Like people would ask questions. You know what I mean?
Hold on, but this is not political.
This is political.
You said this would be a political thing.
This is political.
How's this political?
She's gonna be the queen of a country, Matt.
You really think she's gonna make queen?
Anyway, let's move on. All right, so let's move on to maybe the main topic or something along those lines that are less annoying.
We're an hour into this. Might as well.
All right, so we do have a main topic,
We do have a main topic.
So, do you remember a few weeks ago, and you actually really liked this topic of AI? Keith Edwards says all AI. You're pretty close, Keith.
All AI, all the time, yeah.
You know what? We should have a contest to see if I can pick out AI photos from real photos.
That would be a good one. Maybe we'll do that for next week.
Yeah, and I would get 100%.
I think there needs to be money involved on this.
Let's. I think I can put something together. We'll see what we can do.
All
right.
Yeah.
So, remember a few weeks ago when we were talking about the Humane AI Pin, and you actually liked this AI device. You thought it had potential if marketed correctly to the right people.
If marketed correctly, it's genius. I actually thought about buying one.
And it's like $600 or $700, and you actually thought about getting one.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting one. I mean, they're $600-700 or whatever it is, but I thought about getting one just as a because I want to get I want to get a dictograph or a dictaphone or whatever the hell it's called now, a voice recorder basically. There's a couple of things that kind of helped me along that I'm looking at getting, and I'm like, I can just get this AI pin that they're talking about, and then from there I could use AI to change its thing and then actually send them. I actually peed on their post about their launch and said, if you guys really want this thing to actually take off, reach out to us.
Yeah, because all their advertising is basically the same thing. They don't know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with it. They don't really explain what the hell it is. And it is missing a target market like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But Keith, cheers, my friend.
Keith, cilantro.
Prost.
Exactly. So there's actually a new AI device out now that I think you might have an interesting.
I intentionally didn't look it up because I wanted to see it tonight.
Yeah, right. So it's called the Rabbit R1. And it's actually really, really vastly different from the AI pin that we were talking about. I
believe there's a personal assistant device already called a Rabbit. I'm not sure this is a good idea.
Yeah, that's Rabbit Air. That's the air that's the air purifier I have over here, and it's a great device. It actually does a really good job.
Everyone that's watching just said no. That's not what he's talking about.
That's the only Rabbit that I know of. I'm not sure what you're talking about, David. I'm talking about this wonderful air purifier that does a great job. But so they actually put out a video introducing this new device, and I thought we could review this. So I'm going to bring this guy up here. Let's hang on here.
That's what she said.
Bum. This is not that Rabbit that we're talking about.
Hi, everyone.
So Rabbit R1's device just got upgraded even better.
Yes.
So it looks like they have a small LCD screen on it. Now, so is this their product launch that we're going to watch?
Yeah, we're going to watch the product launch video.
Didn't we already watch
All right.
this one?
We have not. This is brand new.
All right, then.
I'm so excited to be here today to present you two things we've been working on. a revolutionary new foundation model, and a groundbreaking consumer mobile device powered by it. Our mission is to create the simplest computer, something so intuitive that you don't need to learn how to use it. The best way to achieve this is to break away from app-based operating system currently used by smartphones. Instead, we envision a natural language-centered approach. The computer we're building, which we call a companion, should be able to talk to, understand, and more importantly, get things done for you. The future of human-machine interfaces should be more intuitive. Now, before we get started, let's take a look at the existing mobile devices that we use daily. The one device that's in your pocket, the smartphones. Like iPhone and Android phones.
My favorite
Commercial.
beef sticks
Hang on.
are from Paleo Valley. They are
Thanks,
100%
YouTube.
grass-fed.
All right.
These guys have been here for years, and we've grown tired of them. The problem with these devices, however, is not the hardware form factor. It's what's inside. The app-based operating system. Want to get a ride to the office? There's an app for that. Want to buy groceries? There's another app for that. Each time you want to do something, you fumble through multiple pages and folders to find the app you want to use. And there are always endless buttons that you need to click. Add to the cart, go to the next page, check the boxes, and jumping back and forth, and so on. The smartphone was supposed to be intuitive. But with hundreds of apps on your phone today that don't work together, it no longer is.
So that's a pretty good point, right? Like, how many times have I heard my father-in-law, or mother-in-law for that matter, complain about how to use an app, or how to do this on her app, or how to do that, or how to post that over there? Like, he's kind of got a good point. Like, all these interfaces are different on every single app. And, you know, half the time, even if you know what you're doing, you got to hunt and peck for what you're actually trying to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I'm interested to see how they solve this.
Yeah.
If you look at the top ranking apps on app stores today, you'll find that most of them focus on entertainment. Our smartphones has become the best device to kill time instead of saving them. It's just harder for them to do things.
So
Many people before us.
What he just said about the smartphones are now more of a device to kill time versus saving time.
Right.
That right there is a platform to launch off of from a marketing standpoint.
Oh, 100%.
You know, I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, there are sometimes I get a lot done with my phone, and I mean, I travel a lot and I'm on it a lot. But then there are a whole lot of times when if I have that phone in my hand, ain't shit getting done.
Oh, yeah. You know, doom scrolling is a thing now. In fact, that's that's when you get on like Facebook or Instagram and you just mindlessly scroll. And you just scroll and scroll and scroll. Yeah. And, you know, once upon a time, your brain would actually get a hit of endorphins or whatever they call it. Little chemicals go off in your brain that reward you for doing something good. Yeah. But now you don't get that, so you just keep scrolling mindlessly. That's doom scrolling. Dopamine. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
I've tried to build a simpler and more intuitive computers with AI a decade ago. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon made Siri, Cortana, and Alexa with these smart speakers. Often, they either don't know what you're talking about or fail to accomplish the tasks we ask.
All right, pause again.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So, yes, one of those actually doesn't do too terrible. And it kind of pains me to say that I believe Alexa leads the pack.
And that's a problem. I have Alexa in my house, and it's not great. Here's the thing. How many times have I've at least said this to myself or my wife every time we try and use the dumb device, or even Siri, is like, and I think I've told you this, David, the first company that can actually create one of these things, Siri, Alexa, whatever, that understands what you're saying contextually and can actually understand your intent will win this game. Because right now, Siri is terrible. Alexa, it's okay, but it's not great.
Siri's awful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can do the Google one because I have an Android phone and I use it occasionally, and it yields decent results. and it allows me to do things that are inter-app, so I can go into other apps and I say, hey, Netflix, play this show.
Yeah.
But the Alexa actually, Siri is just dead useless.
Yeah, Siri's 100% useless.
If I could never touch another iPhone in my life, I hate getting maps from it. It always takes me weird ways.
Yeah.
And then it's like it'll be 137 miles before my next turn or next notification is going to get me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll pull up to this thing that's got 7 different ramps on it. And everything is different. And what's on the screen doesn't match anything. And I'm like, got anything for me?
Right.
Anything at all? Anything at all? And I'm just looking at this. All right, which road goes the most like what's drawn on the map right now? And just hope for the best.
And I actually keep my Siri.
If I don't have to use it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I actually keep my Siri turned off because I hate it. It's useless.
Yeah, it is just so rough. It is so rough. But I use it when I'm driving. I can use it to make phone calls.
Yep.
It's okay to make a phone call with a person in your contacts list.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you are on your way somewhere. You're
Mm-hmm.
on your way somewhere and you got the navigation up on the Apple CarPlay thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, hey, Iris, call XYZ. It will take down your navigation and put the call screen up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
well,
why are you doing it? Google doesn't do that. So I prefer when I have to navigate, I prefer to use Google.
Well, and here's another problem with all of these things, whether it's Google, Alexa, or Siri. When those are turned on, they're always listening for you to say, "Hey Siri," or "Okay Google," or "Hey Alexa." They're always listening. Meaning, in addition to the fact that they're always listening, they're also recording the audio that comes through for a period of time, and it overwrites the data after a while. But they're actually listening to everything you say. They just don't respond. They just don't respond until they hear the wake up command. That's it.
The wake up command.
That's when they respond.
And what's further is those recorded pieces. This comes back. Okay, we're gonna talk a little bit about the big data.
A little bit of a tangent.
Those recorded pieces. Yes, those recorded pieces are for sale to other people.
Yeah, those are some of the.
They can sell that data out, and then you, by agreeing to utilize this, you've agreed to the terms and conditions of the other person who's going to then utilize your data. That you don't even get to see the terms and conditions. You just agree to them by proxy through the original app or whatever it is that you're doing there. So it's so complicated. Big data is just so big, it's impossible to track down. But all right, let's see what else this guy has.
Let's keep going. We could do a whole nother big data show just on this.
Big data.
Recent achievements in large language models, however, or LLMs, a type of AI technology, have made it much easier for machines to understand you. The popularity of LLM chatbots over the past years has shown that the natural language-based experience is the path forward. However, where these assistants struggle is still getting things done. For example, if you go to the ChatGPT and use their Expedia plugin to book a ticket, it can suggest options, but ultimately cannot assist you in completing the booking process from start to finish. Things like ChatGPT are extremely good at understanding your intentions, but could be better at triggering actions. Another hot topic is a field of research around what they call agents. It has caught the eye of many open source projects and productivity software companies. What remains to be solved is for these.
So I want to give some context because I don't think he does. So just so everybody watching and listening knows, an AI agent is basically it's a small app or bot that runs in the background, kind of like you were saying, Matt. It's an app or a program that runs in the background that is run by a large language model like ChatGPT, something like that, that will perform certain tasks based on what you want. It could go into this app and do this. It could go into that app and do that. But they're usually very, very specific about what they do. It's not generally. It's not a general. Go to for almost anything you need. It'll do like this one thing. It's kind of like having a macro on a computer, right? So anybody who plays video games, a macro is basically a pre-programmed set of keystrokes. So if you want to perform an action in a game, you just hit the macro. It does all this stuff instead of you doing all these things on your end. That's kind of what an AI agent is.
Yeah, let's utilize the idea of Expedia there. Expedia has a page layout. It knows what it needs to do and where it interfaces. And this agent's going to write or the code is written for that agent to fill out XYZ
Right.
On that sheet. Now, if Expedia changes that, then they've got to update the agent to match as well.
Right, exactly. And Keith Edwards says, yeah, finding a cigar lounge or bourbon spots. 100%, Keith. But
I'm all for that.
Anybody
There's actually a cigar spot right over there. Closes at 10.
Anybody leaving comments? If I miss your comment, I apologize. I can't see comments while I'm doing other stuff on the same screen, so I apologize in advance.
Agents to perform tasks end-to-end, accurately and speedily. The problem is forcing a model to perform a task it is not designed for.
Commercial. YouTube. Come on, man.
What are you doing? Why are you paying for YouTube Pro, bro?
Because I'm not going to pay for
When they
YouTube
make
Red.
kibble at some of the
Okay,
temperatures
first
that
of all,
they do, the quality of the ingredient.
Whether
Right.
for lunch,
First of all, I'm not paying for YouTube Red. I have to watch dumb commercials. I'll watch the dumb commercial. I'm not going to pay YouTube to censor more stuff that I want to do or see. Secondly, YouTube Red is a dumb name because RedTube is already a thing. Don't Google it, but it's already a thing. So either way, I'm not paying for it. Not happening.
which model
That's one of my rants.
Okay.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, do it on your phone, not mine.
to reason about web page using super prompts or screenshots. We have yet to produce an agent as good as users simply clicking the buttons. To fulfill our vision of a delightful, intuitive companion, we must go beyond a piece of complex software. We want it to be in the hands of everyone.
All right, pause.
So,
Pause. Oh my lord.
Uh-oh. Where are you going?
Okay, do you remember when we were watching the release of the Humane AI Pin or whatever the hell they call it?
Yeah.
And we said, this is the guy, this is the girl that you all chose to launch your
Yeah, they're the most boring, just
They have
dull people.
about as much charisma as a drunken rock.
I would much rather hang out with the
And-
drunken rock than those two. Yeah.
You know, to be honest, a drunk rock might actually be fun. So let's go with a dead turtle. Let's go dead.
That makes
turtle.
sense. Dead.
Dead
Very
turtles
dead.
are not fun.
No.
This guy is giving those people a run for his money.
Right. I want to hang out with this dude.
I mean, there's no passion, there's no drive, there's nothing that's stirring me to say whatever he's getting ready to release, and he's taking a long ass time doing it.
He could
Probably
get to
'cause
it
we're
quicker.
Interrupted him. It probably because we're interrupting him here, but you know, there's a lot to be desired on the presentation of this, and it hurts. It hurts to set
Yeah.
go. Okay, these people are putting their eggs in this basket, and it's carried by a dead turtle.
Right. And as slow as this presentation is, the AI pin was 10 times slower. This whole thing is like 20 minutes. Theirs was like an hour and a half.
People really need to.
Yeah, and they never did get to what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, Matt, nobody's going to hire you to come and present anything.
They really should. I'd be so much better than them.
You would go off on a rant about a sandwich somewhere.
Maybe, but it'd be more interesting
Oh.
than this.
All right, let's keep going.
we first set out to fundamentally understand how computer apps are structured, and more importantly, how humans interact with them. We wanted to find a way for our AI to
What don't you understand?
We're going to go into the fundamentals of how an app is created. No.
No, well, hang on. I'm going
No.
to replay that so you can hear what he says, then what he presents, okay? Because what he presents is actually kind of, it makes sense the way it plays out.
Okay.
the hands
All right.
of everyone. So, we first set out to fundamentally understand how computer apps are structured, and more importantly, how humans interact with them.
How humans interact with them. So it's going to make sense here in a minute. I promise.
We wanted to find a way for our AI to trigger auctions on behalf of users across all environments. We want it to be universal, not just a Chrome plugin or a limited set of apps, but everything: iOS, Android, and desktop. These applications share something in common: the interface. They all have a user interface. So, at a philosophical level, if we can make an AI trigger actions on any kind of interface, just like a human would, it would solve the problem. This insight led us to create the Large Action Model, or LAM, as we call it. It is a new foundational model that understands and executes human intentions on computers, driven by our research in neural symbolic systems. With a large action model, we fundamentally find a solution to the challenges that apps, APIs, or agents face. We solve it with interfaces. LAM can learn any interfaces from any software, regardless of which platform they're running on. In short, the large language model understands what you say, but the large action model gets things done.
See, that's kind of cool, right? Because here's the thing, as good as Alexa or, I can't even say Siri, or Google, or anything like that is, they might be able to, even if they had full ChatGPT capabilities, they could understand exactly what you're saying, they could understand the context, they still usually can't perform all of the actions that you want to do, right? And this is kind of cool. So it's using the idea of a large language model, which is it understands all of these different conversations, it sees all these other things happening, and it can understand these language and appropriate responses to questions, things like that. Large action model works the same way, only with actions. It sees the way you do things, it sees the way other people do things in the similar environments, and it can simulate the performance of the performance and outcome of what you're trying to achieve based on what the input that you give via the large language model. Does that make sense?
It does, but doesn't that defeat the purpose of "Are you a robot"?
That's my point. That's I mean, that's really the point in the end, is like this kind of so like you said, the large language models like ChatGPT can understand what you say. The large action model can actually act upon those things that you say. So this is kind of the merging of the two. Like, you put all of this into a big organic computer, you might have yourself a human, almost. You
guys should invest in this.
This
should be your investment.
You at least have yourself an art student.
Yeah.
I'll bet it could recreate a Jackson Pollock.
We use LAM to bring AI from words to action. Finally, we can build a computer that, in addition to understanding what you're trying to say, can actually help you do things on your behalf. We've packed the large action model into an advanced RabbitOS operating system. It is built for real-time interactions between you and the rabbit, powered by LAM. Large action models concept and test results are so powerful that we decided to make a one-of-a-kind mobile device. Introducing R1, your pocket companion.
Nice Apple-like intro here. Is it a red iPhone?
Just slap a turtleneck on this dude.
Commercial. Maybe I should have bought YouTube Red.
You're not ready.
I'm not paying for you. You pay for my YouTube Red. That's a really ugly device, by the way.
I'm waiting on it, because for some reason over here on the screen it's frozen, but it's still going over here.
And this is going on for way too long. We get it. It's orange. Orange, you glad he showed us that? Yeah, it could have been a fraction of that time.
Great. You've got a small device with a small
is the
LCD
Rabbit
screen.
R1.
Does it have a projector?
Well, that's why God gave us two pockets. Our phone on the left, our rabbit on the right.
Designed in collaboration
your
with...
wallet go on the right.
What'd you say, David?
Your keys in the wallet go on the right.
Your wallet goes in your back
left,
pocket.
key
What are you,
in
an
the
animal?
wallet on the right. What?
Your wallet goes in your back
No.
pocket.
No, you get a wallet. It's a little wallet. It's a front pocket. It goes in the front pocket.
You can't keep your wallet in your front pocket?
That's weird, Dave.
I keep my wallet.
I mean,
in
if
my
you're
front
visiting
pocket.
Haiti, you keep your wallet in your front pocket, but not if you're like in a
Okay.
civilized world.
This wallet is made of a single piece of leather from a former Navy. I don't know if he's Navy SEAL, but former.
Your
vet from the
wallet
Navy.
was made
It's
from
called
Navy SEAL
Open-
skin? David,
Yes,
he did
yes.
come
We
from
killed
Haiti.
Navy SEALs. We made their wallets out of them. But this is a single, and that right there is the only stitch on it. Now, I cannot talk enough about how amazing this thing is. But it goes in your front pocket where your wallet belongs.
No, he actually means real SEALs who were in the Navy.
Yeah.
So somebody went out when they were retiring, so they just went out and clubbed them. Made wallets.
Yeah. Yeah, it's made of baby seal leather.
Well, they were in the navies. They weren't babies anymore.
Up in the front pocket. Don't put your
You
wallet
can't keep your
back
wallet in your
pocket.
front pocket. Come on, man.
It's
I would
bananas.
like an AI companion that'd be home when I came home.
You wear your wallet in your back pocket. I bet your toilet paper hangs off the back side of the roll.
I'm going to do that next time we hang out just to show you.
Wouldn't that be cool though?
Teenage engineering, the R1 is a fully standalone device, primarily driven by natural language. The accumulation of countless hours of work from our research, design, and software teams. It is simple to use. R1 is equipped with everything
Teenage
you need
engineering.
to interact.
Well, yeah.
That does not inspire confidence.
Yeah. It's actually kind of cool once he gets into it.
I can't believe you sat long enough to listen to this whole thing.
I listened to the whole thing, and I do have thoughts about the whole thing, good and bad.
You don't have a shred.
All right, well, let's skip through some of the highlights here and
With
tell us
you
what you
and
think
perceive
about it versus the AI Humane.
your surroundings. It comes with a touchscreen, a push-to-talk button.
Yeah, I don't have the timestamps available for the different highlights or whatnot.
You mean it? You mean wait a minute? It comes with a touchscreen,
Like
like a phone,
like my watch.
And an analog
yeah,
scroll
or your
wheel.
watch.
Analog scroll wheel. That's a weird choice.
Microphone and speakers, and a computer
No, it's got a
vision-enabled
microphone on it. No.
360-degree rotational camera we call the Rabbit Eye. It is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capable, and it has the same card slots that supports global 4G LTE network.
So has a lot of the same specs as a $10 Raspberry Pi.
So, yeah. So it's on the same specs. The only thing I heard him say here, which really gets me, is this is a brand new device and global 4G LTE.
Well, again, you can get that on a Raspberry Pi. That's a thing.
You can get that, but it's 4G. Why is this not 5G?
Well,
Why is this not
you know what?
5G?
And here about the device, I actually have a theory about the device. So
And now,
Okay.
let's see how it works.
let's see how it works.
I can
That's not
ask
very
Rabbit
small.
for
Holy
anything,
crap,
just
that's
like if
you
I'm
can't
using
pin that to your
ChatGPT.
chest.
You what?
You can't just pin that to your chest. That's a big device.
It's well, yeah. I mean, do we really need a device you pin to your chest though? Humane? I don't know.
If you utilize it the way I say,
I mean, yeah.
it will
If
become
I'm
very
in a
valuable.
specific field, if I'm like a doctor or if I'm captaining the Starship Enterprise, then yeah, I want it pinned to my chest. But like
To
walking
be
down
honest,
the street,
if
I
you
don't.
give me the opportunity to do this, I go like
Sure, on my chest.
Captain David to Ensign West.
Well, see, here's the
and it
thing.
beeps you. I'm
Humane.
doing that.
If Humane is going to keep their pinnable format, they really need to add that as an audio feature. It needs to make that sound.
Yeah,
That's just dumb not to have that sound attached. Come on.
yeah,
Yeah.
You got to. It's like when all the personal assistant bots and Microsoft gave up. I, for the love of Pete, then license out Cortana's voice.
Right?
License out Cortana's voice. I would pay a monthly fee for all of my Series and Alexas and everything just to have Cortana's voice and allow me to just say, talk to Cortana. Because anybody who started out in the original Halo, which we're all old now,
Right.
that's what we want.
I'm telling you.
We don't want Siri. We don't want Google. We don't want Alexa. We want Cortana.
We want that Cortana, not the Cortana we were given.
That Cortana. Not the Cortana. Yes, not the Cortana we were given. We want the real Cortana. Okay.
The difference, though, is the speed. With RabbitOS, I get a response 10 times faster than most of the voice AI projects. Rabbit answers my questions within 500 milliseconds. With the push-to-talk button, you don't need to say anything to wake it up. Just press and hold the button and talk, like a walkie-talkie. Now, let's give it a shot. What's the nature of the reality?
The nature of reality is a topic that has captivated the minds of philosophers and thinkers throughout history. According to Bertrand Russell, reality is composed of hard data derived from sensory experiences and logical analysis. It is the amalgamation of our perceptions, thoughts, and the external world.
I can speak or type with R1.
I mean,
If you
I
shake
mean,
R1,
it quotes Bertrand Russell, so I mean, I'll give it that.
Well, it actually gave that response really quickly, and if it's actually that fast, I mean, that's kind of impressive. By the way, I opened Cannon Blast from BrewDog, so that's a good one.
Okay, so Cannon Blast is probably the only other IPA that I can drink, and I have to be careful with it because Cannon Blast really brings it.
It's a good one. It's named after. It's named for the
Columbus
Blue Jackets, which their logo confuses me now because the logo is no longer a blue jacket, the bug. It is now an Ohio flag going around a star. So I don't know.
Around a cannon, right?
Around a
for those of you guys who don't know,
star.
Anytime the Columbus Blue Jackets score a goal at home, they shoot off a cannon.
Right,
now,
and that's where the name Cannon Blast comes from.
Yeah, and that's where the term Cannon Blast comes from.
But
if you go there and you sit in section 111, the cannon's like right behind you,
and you will be deaf
it's
after
very
the
loud.
game.
You will shit your pants if nobody warns you and you're sitting there and that thing goes off. I have watched some people take a dive.
I believe it
when that cannon goes off.
I believe it, and they changed the logo because the picture of a big wasp was dumb. That's why.
Yeah, I agree. Stinger, I think, was his name, and it never made sense. Even when the Blue Jackets were introduced into the NHL,
even the name,
there were a lot of people who made fun of it then.
Is dumb. Yeah, it's like the Crew. Do I want to see a bunch of construction workers wearing hard hats as my... No, it's just, let's pick a real name. Columbus Football Club, done.
Better yet, take the entire team and just throw them out of the city, out of the state, because that whole thing was shady, and they should eliminate the stadium.
That's true.
And everything, and just get rid of it.
I agree. I forget the guy's name. The guy who owns the team.
Every one of them.
The guy who owns the team is crooked AF. All right.
A keyboard will pop up.
But no, I forgot what I was going to say. So this guy mentioned that it's voice activated. So he spoke to it. It responded back. Quick response. I feel like this has the same problem that I have a problem with the AI Pin, which is to really interact with it. There are other ways to interact, and he'll show us in a minute. But the way to really interact with it is to speak to it. I don't want to have to talk to my dumb device every time I want it to do something. I'd rather type. Nobody can hear what I'm saying. I'm a private guy. I don't want to be on a bus and speaking to my dumb device for it to do something. I just want it to do it without everybody else knowing my business. So that's one of my things.
I can see that about you.
Schedule a massage with a happy ending.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Hey,
all the people on the bus start acting real awkward with that one.
I'm on a busy bus. Hey, reschedule my proctology exam. I'm going to be late today. I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird. The whole thing is weird.
Proctology exams are nothing to take lightly. You should be proud of the fact that you're rescheduling.
It's true. As an old man, you can tell us. I totally agree.
You will also know that the response speed is much faster than using some of the LLM assistant apps with web browsing, such as ChatGPT. What's the stock price of Coca-Cola?
Searching for the stock price of Coca-Cola.
See, the response isn't always super quick.
The stock price of Coca-Cola,
but it's still pretty quick,
is $59.76.
Who played the role Oppenheimer in Christopher Nolan's latest movies?
In Christopher Nolan's most recent film, Oppenheimer, the role of J. Robert Oppenheimer is played by Cillian Murphy. The film is a biographical thriller that explores the story of American scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer and his involvement in the development of the atomic bomb.
Oh, I didn't even see. Hang on.
Now, let's see how the large action model works. With LAM, Rabbit R1 can interact with all kinds of applications. Introducing the Rabbit.
Oh, thanks. I put that on the screen. Thanks, Dan.
I can log into different services and unlock functionalities for R1. It's just like iCloud. Let's say I want to listen to some music.
Commercial.
So I'm lagging over here. I don't know why the screen's so delayed and froze over on this screen.
Are you watching on Facebook?
But
with the Rabbit Hole web portal,
so
I have complete control
actually.
over which services I want to activate on my R1 and which provider I prefer. For music, I use Spotify. So let's go ahead and connect my Spotify to the Rabbit Hole. Now that this is
all right, so I'm gonna skip a little bit here. Basically, he connected his Spotify to his Rabbit on his
calculator
laptop.
By Kraftwerk for you.
It looked up the artist. It looks up different kinds of music. You can ask questions about the music.
From your office to your home.
He's booking an Uber right now.
I have 6 people with 3
Okay, that would come
blockages.
in handy
Find me
because I use a lot of Uber.
Well, it's interesting. Actually, see what he does here. Hang on. Hang on.
R1 to call a ride. Get me a ride from my office to home now.
Of course, I will book an Uber ride for you from your office to your home. Please confirm the ride.
I have 6 people with 3 blockages. Find me an Uber that can fit all of us.
You see, he just worded that like in normal language. I have 6 people with me. We all have luggage. Book a different ride.
For 6 people and 3 pieces of luggage, I recommend booking an Uber XL, as it provides ample space for all passengers and luggage.
I'm a fat guy. I start.
Please
with Uber
confirm the
XL.
ride.
You need the
When
room. I
shows
get
up,
it.
I
just hit
prefer
confirm.
Uber Black SUV if I'm in a city that has them. But that's my normal go-to.
Those are few and far between, but I totally agree with you.
Not for me. I use
Uber's
Uber
on my
all
way.
the damn time.
I can also
Even
use
Christmas.
R1 to
So
order
much Uber.
food.
Yeah.
Get me a 12-inch pizza from Pizza Hut.
Dan McDonald says, glad to see that William Hung is doing
Delivered
well
to
these
here.
days.
The most ordered
So
option on the
that
app.
was a reality
Ordering a
TV
12-inch pizza
show
from
that
Pizza
we all
Hut.
needed to be reminded
Since
about.
you mentioned that the
Dan
most ordered
McDonald.
option is fine,
And no,
I
John,
will
I'm not
select
putting up
that
any
for
of your
you.
comments. John, you should know better. Be ashamed. Yes, John.
I just created an order for a 12-inch pizza.
See, John.
It's going to be
John says hi.
So I think
If you
one of
want
the
to
things.
see his actual comments, it's in the comments.
So I think one of the interesting things that we skipped over. He didn't really elaborate on this. We kind of skipped over the part where he was connecting his Spotify. So basically, logged into his laptop, and while the Rabbit app was on his desktop, running on his desktop, he logged into his Spotify account. But what he also told us he did is off screen, he also logged into Pizza Hut, Uber, all these kind of things. And what's happening is he didn't sync up an Uber app or a Domino's app or Spotify with his Rabbit app. What happened was Rabbit saw him log into these other platforms, and it's remembering that he's connected to these platforms, and it's actually performing the actions on these platforms. There's no app connected within Rabbit. It's actually performing the tasks of a human on these platforms without him even needing to do it, which is really interesting.
Well, that'd be kind of cool,
Right. So that's the point. So
I use Uber for my for getting around, and I use Uber Eats all the time to send meals and whatnot to engineers and and other clients and whatnot.
So here's the really interesting thing. So since there's no app, basically it's acting like a human on their interfaces.
AI experience.
We never actually see a mouse moving around and clicking on this and buying that and hitting deliver on that. This device is actually acting like, on the back end, in the computer part, in its brain, it's acting like a human, performing this action on the interface of these different platforms, right? So from Uber's perspective, from their data, from Domino's perspective, from their data, it looks like an actual human on their website ordering a pizza or ordering a car. It's really interesting the way that it's actually functioning.
I'll give you about 80% of that because every one of those sites tracks what operating system it is that's interacting with.
Right.
And this isn't interacting
It is.
with, this is not a Windows. This is not an iOS.
It is.
This is not,
David, it
so
is.
it's interacting.
It is.
So
it is interacting. It's interacting. He logged into those devices on his Mac laptop. So from their perspective, from their data, it's going to look like him on his Mac laptop is performing these actions.
This is activating. So when his Mac laptop is closed, is this thing still functionable?
Yes.
Then it cannot be utilizing the Mac.
Yes, it's not utilizing.
That's a single device.
You're misunderstanding.
That is a single device with a Mac ID, with an ID.
You're misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding how it works, David.
Okay.
It is working. He's demonstrating it now. That's how it works.
I get it, but the other side still is seeing what device is being used.
Right. It's still utilizing all of his device information on its own. Its own device. So it has an operating system that's utilizing the Mac's interface. So he could have done something similar with his phone. He could have done something similar with his Android, with his PC. And from Domino's perspective, from Uber's perspective, it would look like that device is performing that action as if a human were doing it.
All right, I got two things.
Only if it's done from that device.
No.
Oh, yes.
That's not how.
That's
David,
how
we're
computers
seeing it
work.
working.
Okay.
Then you explain to me how it's working. He actually tells us later
it is
this is
using
how
its
it works.
own operating system. its own. It has to use its own operating
Its
system.
operating system
it can
isn't
mimic
functioning like
something
a
else,
traditional
but it
operating
cannot
system.
be.
That's the thing. That's the key
All
point.
right, run it. If it's going to explain it, let's run it, because
Its operating system isn't performing like it.
I'm pretty damn savvy with this stuff.
I know you are. And
this doesn't
David,
make sense.
Look, then it must be magical because it's still working.
Magic. It's a Harry Potter pin.
Here's the thing. It's not functioning like a normal operating system. The operating system isn't the one that's running the app. The operating system is running the interface that interacts with another app. Right? The operating system is emulating what a human would do to order the pizza, to order the flight, to order the Uber.
Start here. Domino's Pizza, Uber, your internet provider, doesn't matter who it is. They have an app.
Yeah.
That app is written
right.
for this operating system, for this operating system,
right.
for this operating system.
Yeah.
If I open my Windows machine and this rabbit sees, oh, he's operating from here, it has to mimic doing it through that.
Yeah.
But it's mimicking the individual operating systems. Play the damn thing. I got to figure this out.
You're thinking about it too much.
You are. You're overthinking it.
This is okay. This is.
Well, okay. So here's the thing.
It's not overthinking.
It's not. So here's the thing. It's not. I'll play the whole thing if you want. He doesn't actually say how it works. But he does walk through, like he actually logs into Midjourney, and he shows the Rabbit device how to do something in Midjourney. And what happens is later he says, he just goes to the Rabbit, and he says, hey, create this image using Midjourney, and it creates it. And basically, without he doesn't give the direct. This is how it works. This is how the operating system works. This is how the operating system emulates a human's functionality, or how the human is interacting with this device. But what's happening is the operating system isn't acting like a traditional iOS or an operating system. It's not running an app. The operating system is emulating what a human does, interacting with another operating system.
All right, so let me run this by you and take it seriously, all right? Because this is actually a good idea.
David, we're supposed to take this seriously.
All right, now listen. All right, so, everybody pictures the future. You walk in and there's a life-size android in there, right? Female, male, whatever. But they're gorgeous, right? And that's like your AI companion, right? But what if you had like an operating system like this where you could communicate with the AI android, but instead of an android, it's like a fish. Remember the helium goldfish you could radio control goldfish? They'd float around the room. You could,
Okay.
All right, same thing, but not, but like a floating catfish.
Right.
Floats around the room. I think that'd be a lot more acceptable to a lot more people than a human robot.
Yeah, well, no.
Android.
So what David is saying is, when you log into, Uber to order an Uber, their interface is running on that device.
Right.
And what they're doing is they're tracking your IP. And through that IP, they're also tracking your device type, your different specifications for your
device
machine,
type, your
all of the information.
Operating system,
right.
It's revision of firmware on the operating system.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of data transfer there.
Right. Exactly.
So
it actually really does matter. And I understand what he's saying. It really does actually really matter a lot. But what's happening here is it's actually emulating a human performing that action on that device.
Right.
Right? So it's actually doing a lot of really complex things that don't require that device, but still make it look like that device is making that action.
But at the bottom line is, look at the consumer. The consumer doesn't care how it works. Does it work?
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. But so I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I also, from a technical perspective, understand what David's saying. But I also think that you might be overthinking it a little bit, because it's not replicating the OS, it's replicating the human using the OS.
I want a floating catfish is all I'm saying.
And if I'm wrong, then what he's saying is wrong. And if I'm wrong, then this whole thing is just, it's Harry Potter land, because it can't work otherwise.
It has to be Harry Potter land. It has to be. There's some Harry Potter voodoo magic here that's going on that we're not understanding, because this device has to be interacting with some version of the software, whether it be Apple or iOS or Android or we're gonna go Palm, which was what, WebOS, And yes, that still exists. That actually belongs to LG TVs now, or desktop for Microsoft, right? So it still has to interact with those things.
Mm-hmm.
That means that the layout is very important, and its communication is very important. I don't understand how it can communicate with and take action at that without having some type of bridge. So it has to be bridging somewhere.
Well, right. So when you log into the,
I gotta get home. There's really severe weather.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so I gotta get
Hey,
home.
on your way up, can you make sure that you have our key? Kirsten should be upstairs.
Okay, you got it.
Cool. Thanks. All right. Well, thanks again for stopping over, Matt. Always good seeing you.
You betcha.
Drive safe, though, because there are potentially tornadoes out tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna dodge those.
All right. See you later, man.
And hey, you should really buy these Underdog Journey bones.
Yeah, go to underdogplus.com. They're Matt Harmon recommended.
Yeah.
He tested them and recommended them. So yeah. So we'll actually. I might skip forward to the part where he's performing the action on Midjourney, and you can see what he's doing there. By the way,
let's go there.
Yeah. So there's a few comments I missed. John, I'm not putting up most of the comments that you left. I apologize. I don't apologize, actually, after reading your comments. So let's see. Okay, so he's ordering food.
And tossed with a classic
I'm gonna skip
marinara
here.
sauce and topped with
We like cheap non-stop
Push
flights,
the button
grouped
talk, gives us a
seats,
response.
a
Why do we need
cool
the
SUV.
button? Agreed.
you
I
will be
should be able to
exploring
say,
London's iconic landmarks.
Hey, rabbit,
Let me
furry
take-
rabbit, whitetail rabbit.
Why
whatever.
do over 300,000
Commercial.
Order me
people love One Wheel?
Chipotle.
Because it's fun.
Yeah, it can
No
do
need
that.
to
I
overthink it.
want double
Take a
chicken,
look.
no rice, black beans with cheese and sour cream.
It can do that.
That sounds good.
All right, so hang on. So he goes on and he talks about how he showed a picture of Rick Astley and it started Rick rolling him. Took a picture of what's in his fridge,
nice.
and it gave him some recipe recommendations. He goes in, he takes a picture of a spreadsheet, and it recommends on how he could optimize the spreadsheet based on information he wants, which is really interesting. That's not terrible. Let's see if we can get into his Midjourney demonstration. For all who don't know, Midjourney is basically
First, I will go to
AI image generator. It's a really good one, by the way. So let's see if we can get there quickly. Okay.
So, West, you've missed a couple comments here. Jonathan Calendar would like to say boobies.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not posting any of John's comments. He says, don't
John's got
ignore
the
me.
greatest comments.
I'm not ignoring you,
Don't
John.
ignore me. Boobies.
And Dan McDonald says, it's all noggin, boobies.
Oh, I don't even see it. It's like the freaking Matrix here. Like you're reading noggin, boobies, and I just read it out there.
You see the lady in the red dress. I see noggin.
I see the lady in the red dress, blonde, brunette, head. That's just what I see.
Exactly.
I seen a video that started like that once. It was great.
servers page and click one of my own
Let's see
servers.
what we got here.
All right, so he's in this one. He's going to demonstrate. So here's the thing: a lot of the main core applications that you're going to use, Expedia, a lot of the main things that are have typical user interfaces: ordering pizza, ordering Uber, playing something on Spotify. These are things that the large action model is intuitively going to understand because of its programming. Not because it's intelligent. That's a whole different conversation with David. But because of its programming, it's going to intuitively understand how to use those interfaces and perform an action. He's going to show us right now on Midjourney a very non-intuitive interface, because it's not. It's actually kind of a pain in the ass to use. And how you can teach it, for lack of a better word, how to use the interface. And maybe this will actually show us a little bit about how the underbelly works. The undercarriage, under the hood.
So only a general image
I don't want to know about
generation.
your
I'll go to Midjourney text channel. Then I will use the image command along with the prompt.
So while he's doing all of this, his Rabbit app is open on his laptop, and it's basically watching and listening to everything he does. So as he's describing it, he's not speaking to describe what the actions to us. He's speaking to the Rabbit app, so it hears him. sees what he's doing and can learn from those actions.
Here I'm putting a cute baby wild dog with big eyes, animated cartoon Unreal 8K. Let's wait for a minute for the engine to start generating the images.
Okay.
And it's Midjourney's a little slow. You've used these apps.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
And while we wait, let's keep complete and
Once
total
it's
silence.
done, let's click on the image to get a link.
We're all waiting with bated breath.
Oh, another wait time. All right. It's going. Midjourney's actually a really good app once you start playing with it.
Okay.
It's almost as good as the one that I shared with you, David, the free one.
Okay. So it's a lot more fun when you play with it.
As is usually the rule.
I will then explain to Rabbit OS how to use this rabbit and annotate it so that I can generate anything, not just puppies. So let's go back to our web portal, submit the request. It takes seconds for the web portal to finish processing.
MacBook.
So it already watched and listened to what he did.
And that's it.
And now
it's that simple.
He
now once we
locked
finish
in
the
the
training,
action.
I can go back to my R1. Now let's use Midjourney, as I told you, to generate a picture of a bunny in pixel art style.
Certainly, Jesse. I will use Midjourney to generate a picture of a bunny in pixel art style for you. Please give me a moment to create the image.
Right, so while it's doing that, if you notice, he didn't connect his Midjourney account with his Rabbit device. He just logged into his Midjourney account on his Mac and showed his Rabbit device how he does something. And then he asked the Rabbit device how to do something similar.
Big data.
Big data.
Big data here. Jiminy Christmas, Rabbit. Come on,
it's a little.
See a picture of a rabbit already.
Yeah, and there you go. And I think it's only slow because Midjourney is a little slow on generating the images.
Image generated on Midjourney through teach mode. Watch, learn, and repeat. That's teach mode. It's that simple. That's all the demos for today. With LAM fast evolving, my R1 will eventually help me to do things that can never be achieved on an app-based phone. Speaking of the current app-based phones, the first question we ask about ourselves is, why would I need a new device if I already have a $1,000 iPhone?
It's a good question.
My iPhone can't do any of this at all. We do not build Rabbit R1 to replace your phone. It's just a different generation of devices. The app-based system was introduced more than 15 years ago, and the new generation of native AI-powered devices are just getting started. Here's a quick recap. R1 is our companion that hosts the large action model with natural language. I can use it for a wide range of tasks.
All right, we're going to skip over some of the specs.
A push-to-talk button and an analog scroll wheel.
All right.
One last thing. What about the price?
So I only fell asleep.
Now, before we reveal our price, I want to do a quick
had to
comparison.
sit quietly through the other
Here are some of the best phones on the market.
Snapped all night long.
You got an iPhone, you got the latest version.
The price point. He was talking about the price point, though.
We're looking at somewhere around $700 to $1,000 for a top phone with an app-based system. I bought my new iPhone 15 Pro Max last year, and it's the same experience as my previous ones. Here are not so smart speakers. They're asking roughly around $200, but they're all outdated. And finally, here are a couple of the new things with only large language models. You got
AI Pin on there
for $699 plus monthly subscriptions for their base models. You got Tab asking for $600, and you got Meta Ray-Ban glasses asking for roughly $300. Remember, these are the things with only large language models. We still think these were too expensive. We priced the Rabbit R1 at $199, no subscription, no hidden fees. You can order the R1 now at...
Right, that's not a bad price point. $199, no subscription.
Right, well, I've got a new thing to buy now.
I kind of want to buy one just to play with it. Like $200 isn't bad.
Buy one. $200 is worth a try. $200 is worth a go to see what it does and to kind of test it out to see if it's something that is actually feasible for use in the real world. $600, $700, that gets up there, but for $200, I mean, I waste $200 on stupid shit every month.
I've seen you spend $200. Your wife might still be watching, so I'm not going to get into it. I've seen you spend a lot more money on that on virtually nothing. So yeah.
Strippers love me.
Waitresses love you.
I do tip very well.
You tip very well. So look, it's basically over at this point. But I don't think it's an iPhone. I don't think it's a phone killer. But the idea of, I think this is exactly what Siri was supposed to be, right?
So, okay, you said it's not a phone killer, but okay, so what does a phone do that this thing can't do? Because I could link this to my Skype, make phone calls from Skype,
right?
And I'm guessing this thing has Bluetooth built into it.
It does has Bluetooth.
I can go Bluetooth to my earbuds or headset or whatever, and say, hey, call XYZ, and it just calls from Skype versus calling from a phone.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say the downside is the 4G, because there is some speed and bandwidth limitations with 4G, while when it was in its heyday was amazing, but the amount of data that we were trying to send and the quality of data that we were trying to send, although this is not for streaming video, so maybe not. I wonder what the quality of the camera is.
You know what? He didn't get into that, but that's a good point. So I think there's a lot of things a phone can do that this can't do. Like, again, you got to speak to it to perform a lot of actions, and I don't want to do that. I'd want to quietly text somebody without everybody knowing my business. I think so. Here's the thing. I honestly, after seeing this, I think this could have been a $50 app. I think he could have sold this as a $100 app on a phone, right? And imagine it performing all the exact same actions on your phone through a Siri type interface. You just double click the side button. You say, hey, Rabbit, order me a pizza. Hey, Rabbit, order me and it understands. It does everything a Siri should have been, right? So here's my theory. You want to know my theory? My theory is the device is useless. In a year, this is going to be a $200 paperweight. But I think this...
Okay, so you're saying this technology will be licensed out and placed on phones.
Exactly. You got it.
Would be the ultimate.
I think this whole presentation that we just watched was a pitch for someone to either acquire the company or to license out this IP to Apple and Google and Amazon for their devices.
Let's take it a step further. Let's take it from Apple and Google and place it as it's somebody who's starting up a phone. Let's say who fell off the map?
Cricket Wireless.
No, that's a wireless provider. Let's say a phone manufacturer. LG. Does LG even make phones anymore?
Motorola.
Or Nokia. Motorola has a couple of them that are decent. But let's go with Nokia.
Nokia. Okay.
Nokia. Nokia makes some of the world's toughest phones from way back in the day.
Yeah, they make that annoying chirp when you use walkie-talkie mode.
Nokia picks this up, and that's now, instead of being an Android or an iOS, it uses Rabbit OS.
Right. Yeah.
And it's the next generation. So it doesn't have the apps, doesn't have anything. It just natively goes, and you have a few selective things on your screen just to interact with, but that's it. So Nokia, if you're watching, which you should be, because it's us really, but this is the way to go. This is somebody that you could make an impact in the market.
So look, I think regardless of how the large action model works, performing actions as if it were a human, whether it's actual magic or whether it's advanced programming, is not for me to say. But I think the idea, the way that it works, hopefully they own whatever IP is running it and have it protected by law so they can license it out, because I think that's what this was. I think this was a pitch for someone to either want to acquire the license or someone to actually acquire the entire company. I think this guy is planning on retiring a billionaire off of somebody else using his technology.
Yeah, some royalties.
Yeah.
I'm with that. Nokia, get on this, man. You guys are due for a renaissance.
But can you imagine this functionality being built into Siri, Alexa, Google, Cortana, if Cortana ever makes a comeback? This
Microsoft, come on, man.
Honestly, if those smart assistants were actually smart and could contextually perform an action, I mean, it would be a game changer. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, I understand. You've been saying this for years, and now you have a device that's actually getting, or I don't want to say device. I mean, you got an operating system that's getting fairly close.
Right. And again, he could have built this into an app, but I think he didn't specifically so he could make this pitch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's an expensive pitch
how
because
this
they're
all
actually going to
goes.
start selling these things. I think they're going to start selling these things on, I think he said Easter, actually. He didn't get into it. Hang on, let's see if he has the release date. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm gonna get in on the list. I'm gonna buy one.
Yeah. Hang on. Back to the screen.
Rabbit.tech. And we are shipping Easter 2024.
Easter. So
I
real
can't
soon.
wait for you to experience the R1 for yourself.
So this Easter, they're going to start releasing these things. There's a waiting list right now. Let's see if we can get to the link here. Rabbit.tech. His accent got in the way. I thought he said rabbit.hack. He said rabbit.tech. Let's go to the website, see what it is.
Okay.
All right, so you can actually pre-order right now on the website. I kind of want to get one just to play with it. It's kind of, look, I think it's going to be a really cool paperweight, but I'd love to have one to play with in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to give it a go.
Yeah.
I want to give it a go.
Let's see. So here's a little bit
The
of tech.
Rabbit.tech.
A little bit of tech specs here. Photo resolution is 8 megapixels. It's not great, not terrible. We've seen worse.
It's fair enough, though. I mean, I remember when cameras, a 4 megapixel camera was a damn good camera on a phone.
I used to sell cameras at Best Buy during that time. It was rough, man. Video resolution 24.
You remember the cameras that had the 3.5-inch floppy disk?
We used to sell those like mad.
Remember those?
Yeah, we sell those like crazy.
People love them.
And then they evolved into the ones that had the little tiny CD. They were like
the compact flash or the compact disc.
Yeah. All right. Video resolution is 24p. 24 frames at 1028p.
That's a progressive.
Or 1080p. SIM card slot. Yeah. All right. So here's the interesting thing. Said 4G SIM card available. But so you can actually provide your own SIM card at any time. So, technically, if you have a phone that requires a SIM card, which I think they all do now, I think even iPhones do, you could actually just pop it out and be able to plug it into this thing, and it should technically work on the same.
So I'm
connection.
wondering, because I utilize Verizon for work and T-Mobile for my personal phone, and I don't know if this would classify as like a $10 line, like a watch or something. If it costs me $10 a month for this, I'll plug that sucker in a heartbeat. Yeah, I'll pay $10 a month for this thing. But if it's $50 a month, then it's a different story.
What'd be a cool experiment is for like a week, just leave your phone at home or turn off your phone and just use this thing and see if you get the same or more functionality out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like texting in silence a little bit too much, but that's just me. I don't want to speak to the dumb thing. I hate talking to robots on the phone. I don't want to talk to a robot in my pocket.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem.
I would use it. I'd find some ways to use it for work. I'd find a way to use it for work.
Yeah. You going to get on the waiting list? You going to buy one?
Yeah, I'm going to buy one.
Really? You really are?
Yeah, I'm going to buy one.
All right.
I was looking for something.
The website is rabbit.tech.
Yep.
I'm not going to buy one, but I want to see how you like yours. For $200, that price point's great.
Yeah, price point's great. I think it's a steal. I think everybody should jump on it. I don't have stock.
I'll
let you know. When I actually get it, we'll run it through some paces, have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Me. You know how I am. I'll probably get bored with it in 6 months, and then I'll send it your way and say, "Here, you try it out."
Yeah, I'll buy it off you when you're bored with it. How's that?
Yeah, you know me. I'll sell it to you.
Yeah.
Or more than likely, I'll just leave it at your house and say, "Oh, that's yours now."
Yeah, I've seen you do that too, but I will happily pay when you're bored with it because it looks like a lot of fun to just at least play with. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something to mess around with. So definitely, definitely worthwhile. At $200 and no subscription, that is gold. I can't tell you how important that is to me. I would buy a lot of other things right now. Like I have the Peloton bike and the Peloton treadmill downstairs. And I'll tell you the thing I hate most about it's the freaking subscription. I paid almost $6,000 for that treadmill and I don't know, $2,700 for that bike. why am I paying over or close to $50 a month for a subscription to utilize these things? It's absolutely insanity.
Yeah, I love the Pelotons.
Absolute freaking insanity.
I love the Pelotons, but it would drive me crazy paying more every month after I buy that expensive machine. I don't know.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I want to pay for something once and never pay for it again.
Yeah, that's why I want to use AutoCAD. I love Autodesk. I've used the original AutoCAD.
Yeah.
What's out there, but you can't just buy it anymore. Everything is subscription based. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm going to use the free alternatives, which I have now. I utilize the free alternatives, which we've talked about in this show.
Right.
I'm done with subscription. We are subscriptioned out.
You know what we should do?
The population is subscriptioned out.
We should do a show on that. David, offline, you and I should get together and talk about the things that we use and enjoy the most that require subscriptions, and we should find a list of alternatives that don't require a subscription fee and do a show just on those. That'd be a good show.
I know, yeah. The webcams are just getting out of control.
All of them,
Every
man.
freaking webcam site wants you to freaking. I'm just kidding. I don't have it. But it is. It's something we should definitely do. And we are pushing. Where are we at? I don't even know what time.
All right, we've been going for about almost 2 hours now. So let's wrap it up.
Long enough. All right, for everybody that's out there still watching, go get yourself a Rabbit One. Don't sign up before me, so I can be ahead of you in the list. But we will come back. We'll circle back. I want to give this thing a try out, and we'll put it through its paces. We will ask it some obscure, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And see what it does.
Right. So I don't know what the waiting list is, but if David, if you're getting on the if you're getting a pre-order, I'd be curious. Hopefully you get it shortly after Easter. That's when they're actually releasing it. And we should actually do a whole show just you actually reviewing using this thing.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And I know you haven't.
Let's use it for some time, and then we'll get that show on.
And I know you haven't used the AI pin yet, but between the AI pin and this, which do you just off the cuff feel like has the most usability for the average person?
Okay, for the person,
and they're
walking
very
the street,
different. By the way, I have to preface that.
For the person walking across the street, the Rabbit I think is going to be a little more fitting your day-to-day use. For very niche down and very targeted market, the AI pin is from Humane is just a phenomenal piece of equipment. And had they actually targeted their market instead of just saying spray and pray, which is just the machine gun, shoot everywhere, hope you hit something. Had they actually targeted down and created some customer avatars,
right,
and said, how do I speak to them? How do I reach them? How do I leverage my product in this market? They could have done extremely well.
Right.
So for the regular person like me out here, I think the Rabbit is going to be a better fit. Although for some very niche and very particular verticals, I believe that the AI pin is going to do better.
I think you're 100% right. However, I'll preface this with a however. I feel like if the Rabbit were about a quarter to a half its current size, and it had the ability,
it is big,
and it had the ability to pin to your shirt, it would have more identical and more functionality to the AI pin, except for the projector that puts the time on your hand, which I'm still not sure how I feel about that. So I feel like if they could make this smaller and make it a pin, it could eclipse by far the AI pin.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys have been to hospitals, you'll see they have it looks like a voice recorder that is hanging around a pendant on the neck. And, what they're doing and how they're interacting with it is far too cumbersome, far too complicated. And to be able to use something like the AI pin, if you were able to segregate data, which is very easy to do, if you're able to segregate data and parse information and do a geo mapping inside, inside based upon Wi-Fi connections, you can actually pinpoint within probably a square foot of where you are physically inside of one of these buildings.
Right.
It's just they missed so big on that launch and who they were talking to, that it still hurts me to think about what they did on that. It really does.
And that was actually painful to watch. If Humane had actually thought about it and actually marketed it correctly to the right people, they could have made a custom version for hospitals, and they would be in every hospital in America right now. If they had thought about it, they could have made a custom version for the military, and they would have a pin on every military person.
Yeah. And we're
around the world.
And then go from military. Then we're talking about first responders for fire and police. I mean, there is some ruggedized.
I was going to say police. Imagine how this could replace police
The body cams.
The body cams. It could be a smart body cam that they could speak
Yeah.
live through to their controllers.
Yeah. So instead of just your body cam is a piece of evidence, now your body cam is a interactive unit saying, "Hey, I had a person who jaywalked while eating a hot dog that had ice cream in their back pocket in Michigan on Sunday."
It could immediately do facial recognition. It could immediately do identifications of different things. I'm not saying they should.
Now that would be a little tough.
I'm not saying they should. I'm saying they could. And as the government always does, if they can, they do. That's a different conversation.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're not going to get into that. That turns
Can of worms. Can of worms.
And that was a large can of worms. So, all right. I've been drunk, and West is right behind me.
He's been drunk. I've been slightly less drunk. That was Matt Harmon, and my cat used to be over there. This has been the Rabbit R1. David's going to buy one on pre-order, and we'll review that soon.
I'm going to buy one.
All right, man.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Wait, I should actually be home next week. I was supposed to be home this week, but I really should be home next week.
I will actually be remote next week.
I think Nikki's on time.
I will be remote next week. You will not, so that's a reversal.
Where are you going? Where are you doing?
Texas. Going to see my parents in Texas.
Oh, going to Texas. All right.
The Lone Star
State.
State.
Then. I guess we'll see you. We'll see you in the Lone Star State and have one of them delicious Lone Star beers out there. That actually is a really good beer. Lone Star beers is a good beer.
I'll see if I can track one down.
I like it.
All right.
I like it when I go out there.
Later.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Infatuated with the in-between, the ups and downs, the curves and the rounds. I bring it to your city or your hometown. I go back in time when the feeling was fine, when funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way, a bigger celebration than your birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funkin' in the city, funkin' up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.